Hi, everybody. Grady Polson. Welcome to the America Agency. Hello. We're good. All right. Hello, everybody. Grady Polson here, the America Agency with Family First Life. So excited for today's call. This product is taking not only the industry, well, not only our company by storm, but the industry by storm. People are absolutely loving its ease, simplicity, contracting, the quality of the product, the pricing, everything. So excited to have Sherisse on here with us in just a few minutes to cover it in its entirety. You're going to love her. You're going to love this product. You're going to be like, why don't I have it yet? And if anyone has any questions, what you need to do right now before we even start is shoot a text to your manager or your upline contracting manager and say, hey, can you get me access to combine Chubb, this product? I really am excited about it. And you don't even know completely what it is. Now, a lot of people are already selling it, so you can ask them. You might have even seen it in your sales results as people are getting access to it more and more and more. But today's call is going to be absolutely fantastic. So excited to have her on here in just a minute. And as I always like to say, a party is more fun with more people. So if you know anybody that should learn about this product that's actively selling insurance and would like to, get some insight on a product that's taking the market by storm, send them this link, Join America Live. We're live concurrently right now here on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So wherever you're joining us from, say hi below. Love to say hi to some of you guys, but this call is going to be fantastic. So let's jump into some couple quick updates, and then we'll get her on in just a few minutes. Coming up, our biggest event of the year, and this is going to be, biggest event of next year, is our annual convention. I spent some time with Sean recently in corporate, looking 5, 6, 7, 8,000 people will be at our event in convention. Will be our annual convention coming up. You get yourself registered at fflconvention.com. It is January 30th through February 3rd. We do 3 events a year. Ignite, which I'm going to talk about here in a second, and 2 Ignites, one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast, and our annual convention. And the big thing about what I love about FFL, coming from an industry that did its best to turn agents into profit centers, is that we don't require a Tuesday night sales meeting, a Saturday morning sales meeting, a quarterly or a monthly conference that you've got to pay for to go, right? Our 2 Ignite events are free. Our annual convention's like $99 just to help kind of cover the cost of the magnitude of it. 8-figure event that, we pitch in just to help. It's 4 days of training. So, as agents, we pitch in a tiny little bit. But I talk to people at other companies and they're like, yeah, it's $1,000 a ticket. And we don't do that FFL, right? We don't do that here. It's not our model. Our model is get money for your Wi-Fi, get money for leads, and let's get out there and go protect your family. So if you don't have it on your calendar yet, January 30th through February 3rd, talk to your manager, get yourself focused on it. It's in Dallas, and it's going to be fantastic. Integrity Connect. So I was blessed to spend some time last week. Jade, was last week? See, the days are blending together with the children and the meetings. They blend together. And we were blessed and are apprised of all this new exciting information and tools that are coming to us at FFL by way of Integrity, the continual investment that they make into their companies, into their agencies, into the products that we are able to offer. Life Center, which has become a tool used by so many people for access to their leads from Lead Center right into Life Center. Life Center, then immediately you can do underwriting, you can get quotes, and you can immediately single sign on with one click right into any of the carrier apps at which you're working with. The evolution of that is, as meeting with Integrity last week, like we've got too many products. Let's put them under one big umbrella, and we're going to call it Integrity Connect. So from last week forward, today forward, I probably won't mention Life Center anymore. I'm just going to talk about Integrity Connect, but it's an incredible tool. It's free to you. It's the baseline tool that we want new agents to start with, from an ease of getting comfortable of using a CRM, of using a tool, and it's free. Comes with a phone number. You can text from it. You can call from it. And it's free. How many times have I said free? 7 times so far. But it's for us, and it's a great benefit. Integrity.com, you can click login, integrity.com/agents. You can go there, or if you're with FFL, obviously, you can log into your dashboard and click on, currently it says Life Center in the back office. Click on Life Center. It'll take you into Integrity Connect. But it's just a phenomenal tool. If you're doing underwriting checks, if you're paying for another service, $30, $40 a month, you no longer need to pay for that anymore. And this does everything that other service does as well. And then it single signs on right into all your carry apps. So it's absolutely fantastic. And right now, we get to benefit from 10 apps. So if you go start an app and go in, click, you go quote, let me back up. If you go have a lead, you do underwriting, you quote them, right? You get the quote, and then you click start application, America, Moo, AmAm, boom, it zips right into the carry app. If you complete that application, started through Integrity Connect, and it issues, do 10 of those before November 14th, you're going to get a free $1,000. And it's not $1,000 in lead credit. It's not $1,000 in car wash tokens. It's not $1,000 in Robux, as my kids keep asking me for. It's $1,000 cash. So that's an incredible benefit. Just take advantage of the benefits and perks that are coming down from the top. I'm so grateful for them all. But right now, as you can see, we got the chart. The usage is going like a hockey stick. What's more? I mean, I think that's about from a conversational standpoint. It just we're exploding with usage. People are really enjoying the tool and taking advantage of it. So 1,000 ops issued before November 14th, or submitted by November 14th and issued by November 21st. $1,000 coming to you on November 21st. So excited. A little extra bonus money heading into the holidays just for doing your job. So thank you, Integrity, and thank you, Integrity Connect. Ignite. So event coming up. We have at present checked, I believe yesterday, I couldn't, I mean, maybe Natasha can text me, but we are over 2,500 people registered for Ignite. This is Ignite Palm Beach. We did it in Arizona a few months ago. It was absolutely massively successful. So proud of everybody that came across stage, everyone promoting, everyone that showed up, brought agents, and the growth we've had through summer because of that event. And I'll show you a number here at the very end, right before we bring Sherisse on, of the production we did in August, and your jaw might hit the floor. Because, thank you, Natasha. 2,562 people are registered as of this minute. Absolutely amazing. This event, I mean, Sean's talking about, we have already opened up another set of we've already expanded the ballroom. And on top of that, we have a Latino event that night as well. So, but backing up, we did it in Arizona, tremendous success, huge production. And if any of you are in this business, not just to sell insurance, but to build an insurance agency, we like to focus from event to event to event, whether we're doing lock-ins, whether we're doing team meetups, whether or not we're using Ignite as a fulcrum, whether or not we're using convention. But to see that the building we've had and the agencies that have grown and the volume that has taken off since Ignite through summer, I can't wait to see what happens heading into the holidays, heading into the winter, because of Ignite Palm Beach. And to see 2,562 people registered, over 90 speakers will come across the stage, top producers, top agency managers, carriers, and then to have a Latino event that night to support that rapidly growing Hispanic, Latino, Spanish market is just going to be a tremendous success as well. So if you're on the East Coast and you're not coming, join us. It's free. If you're on the West Coast and you want to get better and you need to find some answers to this business and you really need to make it happen, if you're at that tipping point of your life, whether or not you're going to make insurance work for you or not work for you, choosing to not get around other people, get the answers and get better isn't a great solution. Right. And I would, you got to pay your bills, right? Obviously and this is free. You just need to get there. But this event is absolutely going to be incredible. We've got 13 different carriers that are going to be there. I think 6 figures of leads are going to be given away. Thank you, Sean, Mike. And it's just going to be an absolute top tier training event, giving away the secrets. What are the magic words that people say to make clients move forward? What are the words that recruiting and agency managers are using to get agents to believe in themselves and start selling insurance and move forward? What are the things that you need to get answers to? The best people in our company will be at this event, giving them away for free. So 2 weeks till then. Excited for it. Can't wait. And just keep inviting people to join you. Say, hey, there's an incredible opportunity coming up here in Florida, and I'd love for you to join me. See if this may or may not be a good fit for you. So on top of that, we have a meet and greet the night before. Check in. It says 6 to 8, but I believe we backed it up just a little bit, 5 to 7. But I mean, if you show up at 8, if you show up between 7 and 8, I'm sure that they will still be there hanging out, setting up, getting prepared. All the carriers will be there. The vendors will be there. You can register the night before to make that early morning, 9 a.m. registration go a lot more smooth. 2,562 people trying to get registered, between 7 and 9 is going to take a minute. So get there the night before, get registered, get your lanyard, get your notebook, get your pen. Got a bunch of free stuff to give away to the people that are showing up. But it's just going to be fantastic. Also, there'll be food there and a few additional surprises I can't tell you about right now, but show up and you will find out. But we're doing a meet and greet the night before, and can't wait to see so many people out there and to have this great catalyst for our business continuing to roll from here now into the future as far as a training event goes, heading into our annual convention in a few months after that. So thank you. Last but not least, just got off the phone with Ed, and he's like, here's what I'm at this moment. We're waiting on a few more carriers to report back to us for August numbers, but this is a 10% increase over July to have our biggest month in company history. I will say it again. So drop a 5-5 in the chat below if you're excited about being a part of a company that is breaking records that have never been, that we're set, like it's not even we're breaking records anymore, we're breaking our own records. We are setting our own standards. We are putting our own line in the sand about what is possible from an IMO on to create an insane amount of production, get agents paid, clients protected, slam those 55s in there. Let's participate. But it's just incredible. $55 million of issue paid business, which is basically a correlation to commissions paid out to our incredible agents. And it's just a testament to our opportunity. It's a testament to this industry. It's a testament to your drive to not give up and push forward no matter what it takes or what happens to you. And I couldn't be prouder to be affiliated with Family First Life. I couldn't be prouder to be affiliated with Integrity in this company and all of you in this incredible industry. But $55 million. And Ed's like, this isn't done yet because we want to get these few other outlier carriers. We got a few apps we're trying to sort through. So we could tip over like, $56, $57 million. And the great thing is this, whatever this volume number is a direct correlation to how much bonus is going to be paid out to the producers, of course, and the agents and agency managers. And that's an incredible place to be in our industry, to see these numbers continue to grow, the growth of final expense business, the growth of the IUL business, growth in annuities. Like there's just, we're shooting, we're flying on all levels. And I just am so excited, so proud of everybody. So great job, and here now and in the future. So without further ado, let's jump off here. And let me do a quick commercial before we bring Sherisse on. So currently, we are the #1 IMO and #1 provider of life insurance with every carrier that we want to be with, right? Mutual, Corebridge, Americo, Ethos, I believe Trans even. We are AMAM. We are crushing it with so many companies. And it's because of you. It's because you guys invest in leads, you invest in yourself, you invest in your personal growth, you push hard, and you recruit every single day because you're focused on building a business and you're focused on the future. So to have a new carrier that we can bring on, they've got to check some boxes, right? They've got to be agent focused, they got to be client focused, and they got to be, able to handle our level of business. And I spoke to Sherisse earlier this week and so excited to have her on, give a complete breakdown on this product that people are starting to sell like crazy already. But for a lot of us, it's like, do I need something else, right? Do I need this additional thing? Because I already got all this other stuff. Well, what's great about being a broker, right, is that you get to elect where to put your business. You get to meet, you buy the lead, you call like crazy, you get hold of the clients, you find the why, you push through, you figure out what fits in their budget, and then you get to decide at that point, based on some health and based on where you want to place your business, what's the best fit for you. And we've got a lot of great carrier partners, and we're excited about our relationship now with Chubb and specifically combined. But that's for you. So get excited that FFL is in a place where carriers are reaching out to us and we're reaching out to them going, hey, we've heard you got a great product. Can this satisfy our business? And that's what this is about, right? This isn't going, hey, let's completely change everything we're doing. It's going, hey, I've got another arrow in my quiver of products that I can protect you with. And people are loving this product, learn about it, get excited about it, but put yourself in a position where you come here with an open mind and you go, this could really fit into my wheelhouse. I've got some clients that maybe I wasn't able to protect, or I needed to adjust coverage, or they wanted to think about it because they didn't like the pricing. And now we've got Chubb. So I'm excited to bring her on, and excited for all of you guys to be able to take advantage of the great relationships that we have here at FFL. So without further ado, boom. Let's see. Hold on. We're going to unmute. There she is. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am spectacular. So hello, everybody. Let me give me a proper intro so we can do the clipping and all the things. But all right, hello, everybody. Grady Paulson, welcome to the American Agency. So excited to have Sherisse Greene joining us from Combined with Chubb, and absolutely going to let me back up. She's going to tell us about this product that's absolutely taking the industry by storm with the ease of writing, the quality of product for the client, the ease of getting paid for agents, and how this can fit into our wheelhouse here as FFL agents. So excited to have you on. Thank you for making time with us. I could not imagine how busy you are and how tough it is to carve out some time in your schedule. But we've got 300 plus people on here that are excited to hear from you, as am I, to learn more about you and this incredible company and product. So.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad to be here. Thank you for that warm introduction. And I'm glad that we could find some time where we could be together, talk about the product, and to tell you more about generational life. So awesome. Let me know, are you asking questions? Do you want me just to go ahead and present? I am totally up for whatever, off the cuff. Let's do it.
I would love for you to kind of, I think that people don't know, especially myself, and I am a 2.0 student, so don't know about how great Chubb is, right? We just don't know, right? We live in our very, very tight-knit, successful, simplified issued insurance world, and we've done very well here. But yeah. You know, I was talking to Andrew, and Andrew's like, I've been getting billed by Chubb for years. Like, they got my boat insurance. He's like, I didn't even know about this company. And then you look into them and they're just gigantic. And so for you guys to then get into the final expense life insurance space, you know, it's the credibility. So if you can kind of go, who is Chubb, Combined, what it all means, how the great words, what selling points we can educate our clients with, where we can put them in a position where, you know, we can give confidence that our clients are purchasing insurance through a great company, and then kind of into the product. That's it. And then we'll have time for a Q&A at the end of anybody that's got questions, specificities, et cetera. They're never shy about asking questions. So but yeah, just give us the A to Z rundown.
Well, that's good. Well, when it comes to, you know, Chubb, I always say, number one, it's, you know, the largest property and casualty insurer. It has lines of insurance all the way from car insurance, as we joke, Grady, all the way up to kidnap and ransom insurance. Not typically something that someone is looking for. I hope I never need it. Yes. But they basically, you know, run the gamut. And so because of our relationship with Chubb being a subsidiary of Chubb, our space is supplemental insurance. If we'd been around for 100 plus years, our founder was W. Clement Stone, and there's a lot of history, a lot of culture that goes into the organization. Combined really is that organization that knocked on doors. So it was really all about, you know, going out there, knocking on doors, talking to people, knocking on the doors of businesses, and helping, you know, the everyday person with being able to have protection for themselves. So with Combined, we're focused on, as I said, supplemental health insurance as well as life insurance. We also have a division that focuses on the employer benefits relationship. That's our Chubb Workplace Benefits division. And so we basically are 100% focused on the supplemental, the enhancement of what you might already have, and how we can help you with being able to have a little more protection for yourself and your family.
So ballpark revenue, just from a, you know, we're not trading stocks on Wall Street, but just revenue or gross or value. I mean, there's some big numbers backing Chubb. Are you able? I mean, it's what we could look on Wikipedia and there would be a number there in the green, I'm sure. But ballpark, what is the market cap of Chubb?
So right now, give me a second, because, you know, of course, I love to make sure I have the right numbers. When we're looking at Combined, we're looking at nearly about 2.5 million policies in force just in 2024. 15.9 billion life insurance in force in 2024, partnering, of course, with thousands of businesses, and then probably a little more than 1.3 million in benefits paid every business day in 2024. Underneath Chubb, we're looking at about 245.5 billion in total assets, and of course, you know, having that rated A++ by AM Best rating. You know, we've been, as we said, Combined as an insurance leader for 100 years. We're backed by Chubb, which is the global insurance powerhouse and a Fortune 500 company.
Gotcha. So as I'm talking to Betty, Tom or Dolores, I can say, yes, this is Chubb. You might have known them from the PNC business. They're an A++ rated company with $245 billion in assets. So there's some sizzle bullet points we can use when if the client's like, I've never heard of them. Well, do you own a boat? Or do you know? So
if
excellent.
you have a boat, you have some property. You'll probably hear about us more property, of course, with all the things that, happened. I can't even, the years kind of cross over, this year, last year, a lot of the fire things that have happened, a lot of people needed to depend on Chubb to be able to help them to be able to take care of their homes, right? So they're out there, just depends on what market you're in when you're going to probably have something that is underwritten by Chubb.
Amazing. Well, awesome. So our client's insurance is going to be paid out. We're very certain that there will be no issues in payment on that day when that day unfortunately comes. But there we go. So excellent. Thank you.
All right. Give me 1 second.
No
trying
problem.
to figure out how to get the presentation up for you so that you can see it.
Boom.
There you go.
Nailed it.
Awesome. I was like, I knew there's somebody behind the scenes. I love it when that happens. It makes everyone's life so much easier, right? Awesome. So if you want to go ahead and get into the product, we can just talk about generational life, just kind of give you a little bit of information to help you to understand what it is, how we might differ from some of the other carriers, those nuances, because, there are things that we do differently than some of the other carriers. But the product overall, when you think about it, it's, similar, right? I mean, it's a final expense product. Generational life is a whole life insurance product that's going to provide level and graded death benefit options. Now, the one thing that I want to talk about is the fact that there are 3 level benefits, and then there is the graded benefit. The 3 level benefits, of course, are going to pay 100% of the face amount to age 121. Preferred, standard, and substandard. And I think what's really interesting about that is when I talk to people and we talk about what they're used to with other carriers, they're used to just having 2 level benefits, right? There's that preferred, that standard. But the substandard kind of helps for people that aren't all the way to graded, but their health is not good enough for us to give them a preferred or standard rating class. So they still get to have this level benefit, and they are able to have that, like we said, without going to the graded. Now, for the graded benefit, it's going to pay for the first 2 years, return of premium with a 3.75% annual interest rate. And then after 2 years, it would pay the 100%, face amount, just like the level benefit. For the graded, if the death is accidental, then it's going to pay 100% of the face amount, regardless of when the death occurs. And usually whenever I bring up accidental death, somebody always asks the question, well, do you have an accidental death benefit rider? We do not. It is something that we are looking into. We got our first questions about that when we first launched in January. So that's something that maybe we might be adding as a benefit or a feature, maybe in 2026 or 2027. But right now we don't have it. So just stay tuned, Padawans. All right. So let's talk about the face amount. So we talked about those level benefits and the graded benefit. So with preferred and standard levels, those rating classes, the applicant will have between $5,000 and $50,000 of coverage available. If they are assigned a substandard or graded benefit rating class, they are going to have between $5,000 and $25,000 worth of coverage. Now, I want to remind everybody, if you don't know anything about us or you haven't sold a policy with us, that face amount is the maximum that they can have for this policy. So let's say that they decided they qualified for the preferred or standard. You sold them a $20,000 policy. They decide they want more coverage. They can have up to $30,000 more because the max face amount is $50,000. Hope that makes sense for all of my math people out there.
Awesome.
Now, when it comes to the riders that are available on the product, we've got 2. The first one is the accelerated death benefit. And as you can see on the screen, this is included. So it's not a choice. It's not something that the consumer can say, oh, I want to add. No, this is automatically included with their coverage. And it is for all rating classes, level and graded. So how it works is if the insured is diagnosed with a terminal condition when the policy is in force, full payment may be requested. And the diagnosis of the terminal condition must, of course, be based on the opinion of a physician or that would generally result in the insured's death within the next 12 months or would require continuous confinement to a hospital, extended care facility, nursing home, or hospice until death. And I think that's pretty standard in the industry when we're looking at the accelerated death benefit. Now, the second rider that we have is the child term rider. And this is where we sometimes get a little ooh and ah with our child term rider. So it provides up to $25,000 in term life coverage for up to 6 children and dependent unmarried grandchildren that are between the ages of 15 days and 26 years old. Now, there are no qualifying questions for the child term rider at the time of sale. The coverage terminates on the policy anniversary date following the insured child's 26th birthday, and then conversion will be offered upon termination of the child term life rider. There are also no qualifying questions at the time of conversion.
Wow.
The cost for the coverage is 42 cents per $1,000. So, for example, if you have someone that is looking to have $10,000 of coverage for their children, it would cost $4.20 for all 6 children, and each child would have $10,000 of term life coverage.
42 cents per thousand. And you're bucketing all 6 kids under the 42 cents. It's not 42 cents per thousand per child?
Correct.
Okay. It's fascinating.
Yeah, so we always get questions about qualifying. So I always like to make sure I bring that up. There aren't any qualifying questions when they put it on. There aren't any qualifying questions when they look to convert. So it's a really great opportunity.
There's no reason not to do it. Betty, do you have any grandchildren? Perfect. Well, I've got the product for you. Like, this is absolutely incredible.
Now, the product is available in all states and the District of Columbia, except for the ones that you see listed on the slide. And I always like to say them because there are 5 of them: California, Florida, North Dakota, South Dakota, and New York. So those are the 5 states where we are not doing sales right now. So if you ask me, are we in Georgia? I'm going to tell you it's not California, it's not Florida, it's not North Dakota or South Dakota, New York. So that means yes. Now, I will tell you we are approved in 4 of those states already: the Dakotas, Florida, and California. So we're working internally to get those on the system so that we can be available for sales there. But right now, those are the states that when you go to try and complete an application, you will not be able to complete that application, or we won't be appointing you to be able to sell in that state at that time.
So, my next question would be?
This question is when? Ballpark. And I don't have a ballpark for you.
3 months, ballpark. If you were a betting woman, you would say early 2026?
If I am a betting woman, I would say at the earliest, we're probably looking at maybe Q3 of next year. At the earliest. But I don't know. I'm still waiting for someone to give me the full green light.
Do you know what we like at FFL? We like goals. We love goals. And if you were like, hey, you guys sell 50 million of this product, we will push it up to Q1. Might be something to announce at our annual convention in front of 7,000 agents that are selling your just ideas to take to the people.
They're out there. I'll see what I can do. It's
just a third of the country, in Florida and California. But there's people that are above make these decisions. So okay, cool.
Yeah, I understand. So now that you kind of understand what the product is, let's talk about how you qualify. And of course, there might be some other things that you want to know. We can totally get into that. But let's talk about how to qualify, and then we can always go back. So we done our best to try and, as you said, make this simple, right? Simple way of being able to have access, simple of how you complete the application, simple of who can qualify.
Right.
So the first thing that I always like to say is we have a larger issue age than probably anyone else out there. You know, a lot of final expense products are looking at 45 to 80, maybe 50 to 85. We're 0 to 80. So
Wow.
we're here to help you to be able to help more people that maybe for whatever reason, they might not have thought they would be able to have a product like this. Here's their opportunity. Here's their chance. So to qualify, they would need to be able to basically get through 3 questions. They're mushed into 2 questions on the application, but I'm going to break them down into 3 areas. 2 of them are on the screen. 1 of them is not. So the first one is that if I'm looking at any applicant between the age of 0 to 80 who has not been diagnosed by a healthcare provider with a terminal illness in the last 2 years, right? So if they say, yes, I've been diagnosed with terminal illness in the last 2 years, that's a knockout. They're not going to qualify. If they are residing in a nursing home, assisted living facility, or they're under hospice care, that's a knockout. They're not going to qualify. And then the third thing is, the first thing I said about Combined is that we're a supplemental company. We like to help people to have protection in addition to. So we are not looking to help somebody with replacing any existing life or annuity policy. So if someone is saying, yes, I'm trying to replace coverage with this, that is also going to put them on the decline, right? So these are pretty much the 3 areas where if they're not diagnosed with the terminal condition in the last 2 years, they're not confined to one of the places that you see on the screen, and they are not looking to replace any existing life or annuity policies, then they would be eligible for generational life coverage. Now, someone always likes to throw a wrench into my plan of making it easy. And they'll ask me a question about, well, what if someone's incarcerated or maybe they've had a felony? Now, the question is not on the application, but if you know that someone has had a felony, you know that they are incarcerated because someone told you, we want you to be the fiduciary of our organization and not write that policy, right? Because for us, we are not looking to have coverage for individuals that have had felonies or are incarcerated. So not an application question, but I want to put it out there before someone calls me and asks me. So
to touch on that, guys, it is our responsibility as the agents to advocate for our clients to get them coverage, but it's also, we're representatives of these giant insurance conglomerates to do what's best for them to stay in business, right? If we start writing a bunch of gray area business and stuff that's going to cause challenges, get you chargebacks, things that you should have known, questions we should have asked, not good. So yes, thank you for clarifying that. But yes, we are, great word, fiduciaries on behalf of you, but also advocating for our clients to get them coverage. But yes, if the guy's in jail, how's he even docu-signing the policy? How's he text sign? How is he signing the app? So yes, that is a no. So don't do that, please.
Yeah. So, based on what's on the questions that are within the application, they answer these eligibility questions favorably, they will be assigned a rating class, one of the 4, right? At that time, you haven't answered the underwriting question, so we won't be able to tell you which rating class. We haven't done the pharmaceutical check, but if you are able to get past that first screen, then you will have a rating class assigned at some point in time in that application if you continue to go through it, right? Now, there's one more thing that's going to impact the rate, and that's going to be smoking, their smoker status. So I always like to make sure that this is a very black and white area. We try and remove the gray. So smoker rates will apply if the primary insured has used tobacco or tobacco products, including vapes, in the past 12 months. Clearly, on the screen, it says tobacco and tobacco products. If you're not sure about tobacco and tobacco products, that means things that might have nicotine in them. So that might be like a cigarette or like a pipe or a cigar or the little snuff, or maybe it's a chewing gum, to stop smoking, or it's the patch, right? All of those things have nicotine, so they're a tobacco or a tobacco product.
Gotcha.
If it's not a tobacco or a tobacco product, do not bring it into how to get the answer for this question. Very black and white, yes or no. If it's not one of those things, then it is no. If it is one of those things, then it is yes.
Tobacco. Clear. Tobacco. Everyone hears tobacco, right? Tobacco, yes. Mark, yes. Tobacco, not tobacco. Carry on.
There you go. We try to make it as clear as possible.
You're killing the clarity right now. Everyone appreciates your clarity. That especially me.
No, we try, and we think it's important because we know that it's legal, right? But that's not what the question is asking for. So we want it to be as clear as mud. As clear as mud. Awesome. So let's talk about underwriting then. If anything hasn't come up in the chat, questions, feel free if you want to throw them out. Anything that comes up, I'm always about it.
If anyone's asking questions, just table them and we will do a Q&A at the end of this and we'll get your questions answered. We want complete clarity and transparency on this product so you're ready to go. But yeah, let's keep going. But yes, we want you put happy stuff or this is awesome jokes, sure. But if you got specific questions, just wait till the end, please.
Awesome. So, we talked about the fact there's a whole life policies, modified, guaranteed issue whole life, depending on if you're graded or if you're level. Application is simple. Yes or no questions, no filling in the blank, real-time pharmaceutical check that's happening. The application is all digital. It systematically determines the applicant's eligibility, rating class, and the maximum face amount that can be offered. Now, here's where I go off script a little bit because I like to talk about what happens in the background, right? The application is pretty quick. It'll go by before you know it. You'll put in the personal information for your applicant. If there is an owner, we'll talk about that information in a moment. And then you're going to get to the point where there's an opportunity for the applicant to give their permission to authorize us to look at their medical information. There will be an opportunity for them to review the information that is in the application or what you have put into the application. And they will say, yep, that's right. You got my underwriting questions right. You got my smoker status right. You got my gender right. You spell my name right. Yep, we are good to go. Then behind the scenes, our organization has done a wonderful job of calibrating with our vendor, Milliman, to conduct a pharmaceutical check in the background while you're going through the application. And what that real-time check is doing is it's looking to align the answers that have been given to the underwriting questions to see if there's anything that is saying those things aren't lining up. It's looking at their pharmaceutical history to see what maybe is in their history, is what they have taken, what they maybe are taking. And then it's also looking to see if we can actually locate the person based on the information that you gave us to be able to check and see if they have a medical history. We know that there are some people that don't really like going to the doctor. So it might make it harder to find a positive ID check, to be able to look at their medical history, to be able to say if they are someone that we're willing to take any other risk on other than graded. You might have someone that has a prescription that is still being assigned to them and they could still fill, but they're maybe not filling it, or maybe they do fill it and they're not taking it. It still counts as a part of their history. So it goes into the check. So it's looking at all of that in the background. And then about, I would say somewhere between 3 to 5 minutes later, after you've entered in the beneficiary designation information, it will then provide you with a rating class. Now, this is important. Whatever the rating class is what the rating class is. There is no appealing the rating class. There is no saying, oh, I thought the rating class was going to be something different based on what I put in. The rating class is what the rating class is. So if in that moment, because of your extensive knowledge and access to other carriers, you are thinking, I could get them a better premium and a level benefit or whatever it is. This is the opportunity for you to have a consultation with your customer and do what's in their best interest, right? If you leave the application, there's no penalty for leaving the application because we want you to do what is in your customer's best interest. If you can get them a better premium or a level benefit and they got graded on ours, please do what's in the best interest of your customer. Don't just submit that application to then go, oh, 2 days later, we canceled it because then we found something. No, go now, right? The information will stay in the portal for at least 2 days. Now, here's the thing. The day that you submit the application is the rating class that it's going to take, right? If they got graded, it's not going to go any worse than graded. So if you come back 2 days later and you got them something better someplace else, great. You got your customer a better opportunity to get day one benefits, right? But this is your chance to do it right here in this moment.
So no penalties for starting apps. Like if someone starts, is there a limit, or we have an, because some companies have placement and persistency and I mean, those are the main things, right? Placement is the main thing, right? You should have done pre-underwriting before you brought them to us. Do you guys not have a placement penalty?
So for us, placement happens after the policy has been submitted and the policy has been issued.
Got it.
We're not looking at the placement from when you're going through the application and if you actually got to the end. Yes, don't get me wrong. I'm going to look at the numbers with my team to go, how many applications were started, how many actually went all the way through to quote, and then how many, went through to being submitted. But at the end of the day, I would rather you not submit the application than submit the application and canceling it, because cancellations is something that we're monitoring regularly. And if the cancellation gets too high, we'll have to look at, the whole business and going, maybe this isn't the right fit.
Sure. Got it. Perfect.
Yeah.
So the agent should know at that point, have a conversation on price and coverage with the client, and we're going to determine if we go forward. If you're not doing good persistency, keeping the client happy, making sure they're confident with their purchase, making sure it fits in their budget, that's a whole nother issue. But there's no punishment for getting in there and finding out what their rating class is going to be and then determining at that point. So love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's huge.
On the flip side, if you have an applicant where they get a preferred or standard rating class and they're like, oh, I want $10,000. This is your opportunity to say, are you sure that is the benefit amount that you want? Because you got a preferred or a standard rating class. There's no guarantee when I fill out an application for you again later that you will still be in the same good health that you are today. Are you sure that 10,000 is all you want? And I just want to make sure. And the reason for this is because, as you see on the screen, the application is not going to be routed to an underwriter to make any changes to the application, because once it's submitted, it can't be altered. So whatever the benefit amount is that you submit is the benefit amount that is going to be. We won't be able to go back and make it higher. You'll have to write another application for another policy in order to get them more coverage. And so this is my big reveal to say, hey, at that moment you have them, just double check, is this what you want? Are you sure this is what you want? Because once we submit it, there's no guarantee that you'll get the same rating class. And right now you've got it at this price. So just a little thing to throw out there.
Betty, you're only one prescription away from becoming uninsurable. You're one doctor's visit away from becoming uninsurable. Great lines, guys.
Now,
awesome.
So all that happens in the background. Rating class, as I said, is the rating class. It's not going to go to an underwriter. So like I said, I know what some other carriers you might be able to appeal. I've even had people ask me, and I know you probably are saying, Sherisse, but I'm looking out for you. And I'm going to go, yep. But I talked to underwriting and they told me that if you maybe thought that the rating class was going to be worse and it comes out better, we can't change it. So whatever, I'm telling you, whatever the rating class is giving you, that is what it's supposed to give you.
Gotcha. Perfect.
Okay. All right. So completing the application is pretty straightforward. This is the information that's needed. I kind of talked about it sort of in our last slide. The proposed insured's information, if there's an owner information, little asterisk there has you looking at the bottom of my slide to let you know right now what our relationships are. This is also another difference for us with other carriers. We are looking to have owner to insured relationships that are either parent to child, grandparent, spouse, or legal guardian. I know that's a small list, but right now that's what our compliance and legal team have approved. We're looking into opening up some of those relationships of the owner to the insured, but right now those are the ones that we will accept. Legal guardian, I would just want to talk about it for a second, must mean that there are court-appointed documents that say that this person has been designated by court order to be their legal guardian. If you're selecting legal guardian to try and get around a relationship that's not there, it's going to hold up the application. It won't push through because they're going to have to send in the legal documents for us to review to show that that is a legal guardian relationship. So hopefully in the near future, I can, let Grady know, hey, we have changed the relationship from owner to insured, and a child can be the owner for a policy that they're writing for their parent. And I'm really hoping I can get that done in the next 1 to 2 months. But for right now, the ones on the screens are the ones that we're accepting for owner to insured relationship.
Awesome.
Now, there are 5 underwriting questions. We talked about easy, yes or no fill in the blank, the authorization to release the medical information, the beneficiary designation, payer information, and premium billing method. So the payer information, as it says here, can be someone other than the proposed insured or the owner. So I just want to make sure that I put that out there. Sometimes we get a question about what relationship do they need to have to the insured or the owner. They have the relationship of being the payer. There you go. For the premium and billing method, I like being.
That. I've got some agents that kind of, and not take everyone off task, but like I have an agent that goes to businesses and he'll use benefits as for the owner of the company to sell to the employees benefits as kind of like a benefit package. Could the owner of the company be the payer, and then everybody else is like the employee, and the employee's wife could all be beneficiary, owner, all that same stuff, but the payer could just be the owner of the business that's buying a policy for the employee as a benefit? That's possible? Easy?
That is possible, yeah.
Cool. Payer can be anybody. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So premium billing method. Pause here for a little, talk about some of the things that you might encounter when you are putting in an account number. So we have a vendor that looks at the accounts that are put in, and based on the account number, sometimes the routing number, it might tell you while you're putting in the billing information that it could be an account that's had a history of insufficient funds. Maybe it's an account that has had a negative history at some point in time. Maybe it's an account that has no history. Or it could be an account with what our vendor considers right now to be a non-participating financial institution. Now, I mentioned 4 specific things. What it doesn't tell you is specifically which one of those 4 things is the reason why it's not allowing you to use that account or that billing method for the purpose of the sale. And I know that can be a little frustrating. There are a couple of options that you have in that moment. If it's a bank account, because we do take ACH, checking, savings,
Wonderful.
and it's not taking the account, then if there's a credit card that is attached to that account that happens to be a Visa or MasterCard, you could use that. If they have another payment method that they maybe use, maybe they have another account that you could use, please do that. But if you put it in and you still get that pop-up and it doesn't allow you to go forward, I apologize in advance that account is not going to pay the premium for that policy. Okay. And it hurts me. It hurts my heart to tell you that for that reason, now in your customer's best interest, you now have to go with another carrier. We are working behind the scenes to, number one, try and get the list of maybe the financial institutions that are non-participating. So maybe if you can see on the list and that's the financial institution that they do business with, you can kind of know a little bit in advance. We have found that this is typically happening in areas where it might be a smaller financial institution. Maybe you're more in a rural area. I apologize. I know I'm not trying to call that out, but that tends to be where we have seen it come up more than not. But we are working to see what we can do. But at this time, I want to be very transparent about that so that you know in advance, and when it comes, you're not taken off guard.
So when you're gathering initial information, and Betty, who do you bank with? Bob's Bank of Northern Omaha. Okay, Betty, is that the only bank you have, right? Or she says, I bank with Bank of America. Bank of America shouldn't be an issue, I would hope, right? But Bob's Union Trust of Northern Omaha might be a smaller facility that may or may not be on the approved list. So cross that bridge when we get there. Questions that always come up: online bank like Chime, and also Direct Express. Is that fit in your buckets at all?
So Direct Express, yes.
Okay.
Chime, I'm hearing multiple accounts where it might work for the initial, it's not working for the recurring. So I am trying to get more clarification on, I think they're called MetaBanks, I think is the term for them as well. So I'm trying to get more clarity on MetaBanks. So Grady, hold me to it that I get you an answer if the online bank accounts and MetaBanks can be utilized for this.
You got it.
Okay. All right. So those are pretty much the big things that I say are associated with the product, from how it works, how it works for your customer. I know that there are probably some things that I haven't talked about, like commissions, but I also know that commissions and things like that sometimes are a relationship between you and your upline. And so I try not to get involved, but we have the ability to pay commissions. Depending on your relationship, if you're the commission agent, then you're, putting in your own bank account for that when you get contracted.
We're direct to carrier here. So agents get paid straight from you guys. So we don't.
Got it. So never mind. So with that being said, we're going to pay you and then you're going to pay them.
No,
I like that one.
You don't pay me. They're going to be like, Grady, where's my money? I'm like, oh, I got your money, man. Call Sherisse. No. You pay them directly. They put their own information in. They've all got their own back offices. We love to use Benchmark because it's so simple. Yes. Yeah. So, and then you can choose daily, weekly. I don't have a lot of people that do monthly, but maybe that is you. But you get to kind of choose that, and you have the autonomy to make changes to that as well. As you said, Benchmark, we love them. We're so excited to have them as a partner. It's just been great working with them. So they they take care of the enrollment site. They take care of the system. They take care of paying the commission. So, it's very, very streamlined. Yeah. Awesome.
And with that being said, you talked about the contracting process, which is pretty easy. 98% of people are probably getting appointed within 5 minutes. It goes pretty quickly for most people. And then if you're not in that 98%, again, my apologies, but usually within, I would say, 3 to 5 days, you would know if there's something that is, kind of holding up your process. The competitive rating classes, as we talked about, it's kind of interesting kind of how this is played out. We actually are seeing just as many people that are getting a substandard that are getting preferred, right? So it is helping people to have a level benefit. I know for a lot of people, sometimes I'll get questions about like children, right? Children who maybe have like conditions like maybe cerebral palsy or whatever. Most likely because they have that condition, they might not go graded and they might not be able to be preferred, but substandard allows them to have, that level benefit if you're writing the policy for the child to be the insured versus what we were talking about earlier, which is that term writer. Two totally different things. So
because you guys are 0 to 80, they do not have a terminal illness in the past 2 years. They don't currently reside in a nursing home facility, and they're not replacing a policy. Ask me what else? Well, I got it. But that's why. I mean, I have a good friend that has a child that has cerebral palsy, and but he's not. He's fine. He's living a great life. He's just chilling and floating in the pool, and great little kid, right? But so that's good to know. I mean, the opportunity to market a place is wide open now at this product, because many of our carriers, like you said, start at 40. They used to be at 50, then they went to 45. Some are at 40, and you guys are at 0.
Wow.
And with that, million insurance, we're gonna have a real conversation about California and Florida. Okay.
I know. Now, one thing I will bring up with that generational approach that I forgot to say earlier, forgive me. We have a nearest age premium. So when the age is issue age, it's the nearest age. So if someone is closer to their next birthday when the policy is going to be effective versus to the birthday that just happened, it's going to give them the rate for their nearest age. So wanted to bring that up as well. So if someone is 80 and they're at the 80 and 6 months, one day, they just missed the cutoff.
Got it.
Just missed the cutoff. Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
Yep. And so with that, straightforward pricing is on my screen. So again, I always say I like, being very transparent. We have noticed every once in a while for that nearest age, just in some instances where because the day you're writing the application has them closer to one age, but the day is going to be effective is closer to the nearest age. We did identify that there, in some cases, it's not doing it correctly. So if by some chance you see in the system that your customer got charged maybe $2 more or $3 more than what it was, that most likely is the reason. We have identified it. We are working on it. So we should have that fix in place in the very near future. But I just like letting people know that if that happens, that is most likely what it is that caused that change in the price.
Awesome.
Yeah. Let's see. Is there anything else that I haven't covered? I know I always have one more thing to cover, but I want to see if there's anything you have a question about.
If you have slides, we can finish those. If not, we're going to have some questions. So people are excited about it, but you are ready for questions?
I am ready for questions.
Okay. Well, before everyone feel free to, if you posted a question 27 minutes ago, I'm not going to scroll up, just right here after Desiree Martin. Anyone after her that asks a question, we will start that process. But if you would like this product, which everyone should, because it's fantastic, reach out to your upline contracting manager, and they can get it sent out to you. And if you are one of the 98%, you should have it in 5 minutes. And if you have some stuff going on, which, hey, thou without sin shall cast the first stone, you should have it in 3 to 5 days. So, no, either way sounds pretty freaking awesome. So, all right, let me start here. Desiree is asking for a pricing chart for the graded benefit. I would say, Desiree, just go in the back and quote it yourself. Pricing charts are if that's something you need, but it's kind of an antiquated, it's what they used to print out, the grids, but you can just go and, do it as fast as you want.
Yeah.
Good question. Stephen Cheek says, can you backdate to preserve age? No, not a functionality. Very simple. Simplicity wins, guys. Good question, Steve. But this is a simple final expense type product. If when Chubb launches their super IUL, Combined launches their super IUL, at that point, maybe we have some more flexibility in the app. But all right. Dustin says we love Chubb. Okay. Joe says felony in the last 24 months.
Felony is a felony is a felony.
Felony is a felony is a felony. Is there a question on the app that asks if they have a felony?
Nope. But that was what we were talking about earlier when we said, that they have had a felony, then it doesn't matter when we would not want to write that person.
Got it. So no, Joe. Jimmy Brown says, can a standalone app be written on a 0 to 17 now?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, Jimmy, go get all them. No, Kirk, we're not going to talk about the 4 states because I'm working on California and Florida. You mentioned no terminal illness in last 2 years. So cancer after 2 years would be okay?
Well, here's the thing. If it's not all cancer is terminal. So the question is it a terminal illness within the last 2 years? If they were diagnosed with a terminal illness 3, 4, 5 years ago, that's outside of the 2 years. So someone got it wrong.
Correct. But at the same time, the Milliman script IntelliCheck would then be looking at doctor's visits, medications they're on, taken, if they had hospital visits, and then they would determine the rate class based on what they see.
Correct.
So submit them and see what happens. Mo's asking, actual health insurance or just supplements, and is there an enrollment period? This is life insurance, Mo. There's no enrollment period. This is life insurance. Do you folks take an ITIN number?
No, we do not. Right now, only valid Social Security number.
Only valid Social Security number. Okay. Bartek, do we have a comp grid for this? Of course. Check with your upline manager, or you can email Bridget at corporate. They will have that for you. Who do I contact for contracting? Talk Desiree, reach out to your upline or your upline contracting manager and say, I want Chubb. I want Combined. Combined is a subsidiary of Chubb. We all say Chubb because it's honestly fun to say. But at the same point, Combined is the name of the company at which we're writing life insurance for, which is a subsidiary of Chubb. I got that right?
Yes,
okay.
That is correct.
Okay. I heard we have daily pay, but do we have a comp grid to see what percent product? Yes, Peyton, reach out to your upline. This is a question. They're flying in now. Is there a maximum of grandchildren allowed on the grandchildren rider? Like someone has 40 grandchildren, will they all be covered on that rider?
So remember, it's up to 6. They must be dependent unmarried grandchildren and under the age of 26.
There you go. Dependent unmarried grandchildren. Okay, holy cow. Carlos says, if the client has a Chime account and the first payment goes through and the second does not go through, does the client need to call in and make a payment manually, or what would be the process to have the payment taken or change payment?
Say that one more time.
If they need to change payment, right? Second month, right? First month goes through, policy goes active. How do they change payment?
Customer needs to call in and change the payment. That is also one thing that's a little different with us. I know with other carriers, producers can sometimes call in and make changes to payment. For us, it needs to be on a recorded line because it's the customer's money. So they need to be the one that tells us that they want us to take from a different account. So the number they would call in is inside the producer guide. It's 1-800-225-4500. That producer guide is on the portal underneath information and product materials. For that question about the rate grid, the grid per 1,000, a month is also in the back of that producer's guide. But there's also, quote engine inside a benchmark as well. So
one more time, 1-800-225-4500.
Yep.
All right. Great question. Francesca Hasape says, does the policy get mailed or emailed or both? And how long does that typically take for them to receive any online portal for existing clients?
So the portal is available for people that are receiving their documents electronically. There will be an email that will be sent to them that will give them access. For access to policies, it typically happens when the policy is effective. So in that time frame where it's issued but it's not effective, they would be waiting to get access to the portal. If they selected electronic delivery, they will be able to access the policy on the portal. If they have selected to not have it electronically delivered, then the policy will be mailed after the policy is in force and effective.
Great. Okay. DUI, traffic violations, reckless driving.
That's a new one for me. No one has asked me that, so I will work with underwriting to learn what their thoughts are on that.
I mean, generally that's a Milliman and Telescript type or MVD check thing. But are the clients putting in their driver's license number at all?
No.
No. So it would be difficult to check. Okay. Ashlyn says, would you mind going over how the age works again? I just want to be clear. Did you say it rounds up?
Nearest age, yes. So rounds up. So if, for example, I have a friend today, his birthday is today, right? So he is closer to today's age. And he will be closer to that age for the next 6 months. After 6 months and 1 day, he will be closer to his next age, which would be 41. So whatever birthday you're closer to, that's the age that we use for the premium.
And the quote tool does that. It says it on top, it says rounds. And so when you put the client in, it won't give you the wrong number. It will give you the correct number based on their age. Now, if you can deduce that it's, their birthday is coming up in December and it's July, just have that conversation with your client. But most of the time this should, there's about 5, 6, 8 days. It should be only 30-day window if you're doing future draft dates, but okay. Yeah. Richard says, okay, this is kind of we're going to just get answers here, Richard. I got you. If a client has to cancel, which is unfortunate, before a policy starts, do we really have to fax in a cancellation? We can't call even if a policy hasn't started. I don't know where Richard seems frustrated, but I want to ask the question.
Yeah. So Richard, if they are within the first 30 days, they can call into that customer number and cancel over the phone, or they can also send, I don't know the email address, so I wanted to go there, but there is a way they can send it by email from the email that's on file for the policy. But as long as there is no cash value on that policy, the customer can call in. No producer can initiate any cancellation for a life policy.
Awesome. Okay. Does it have to be a parent to a grandchild, or does it have to be a grandparent to a grandchild, or can it be a parent to a child on the policy?
It could be either grandparent to a grandchild, or it could be a parent to a child.
So it's a child rider. It's not a grandchild rider.
It's a child rider. Yep. Child
rider. All right. That was a great question. That was good. There we go. Because at 42 cents, everybody all the children of the world should be getting this. Stephen, yes. What is the URL we go to now to check out products portal before being contracted? Is there a website you have, a general combined life insurance website that she can go look at? Or you can reach out to your upline, Kendrisha.
Yeah. If this is contracting, all the links come through the benchmark portal.
Okay. Okay. When you said valid social security number, do they have to be a permanent resident or U.S. citizen, or do work permit social security numbers work as well?
They need to be if they either are a citizen or a permanent resident with a valid social security number.
Okay. Also, can the spouse or an adult child be the payer? Anybody can be the payer. We figured that out. Mm-hmm. Okay. A couple more, and then we're going to let Sherisse get out of here, but these are good. If the client is in a rehab center we're getting detailed here. If they're in a rehab center for inpatient therapy, can he or she apply?
Let me take that one back and talk to my underwriting.
All right. Good question. I like this. Great question, Tristan, thinking big picture. He says, will there only be final expense products with you guys, or will there ever be a term or IUL products in the future?
Possibly, but right now this is our only life product.
Gotcha. Okay. We're on the front edge. Okay. Oh, how do we sign? Oh my God, there's so many questions. Sorry. Signature.
I can go through that one. So signature is a text to sign.
Ways to sign. Yeah. Do email or text?
Email. Yep. And basically you send them the link. It comes with a code. They click on the link. They put in their code. They scroll through, select I agree, make sure that they are selecting yes to be able to complete the application by telephonic means. And then they can select yes or no in order to receive the policy by electronic delivery.
Awesome. Okay. Peter Sampson, how do I change the bank? Call in to the number 1-800-225-4500. Client needs to call in. You can call with them, which would be great to guide them. Blanca says, any ITINs? The answer is no, no ITINs. Can you write a policy for a parent as the child?
No, right now that relationship is not part of the owner to relationship. So the child cannot be the owner when their parent is the insured.
Awesome. Everybody, can you please drop just an SG? Let's drop some SGs in the chat below to show Sherisse Greene some love for all she shared with us, for being part of a great company that's excited to create great products for us, or great product currently, more on the way, California and Florida. Within a year, we've got that on camera, and more fun to come. So, Sherisse, thank you so much. Thank you for your time, and we'll do our best to disperse this video to educate people as much as possible on your great product and this great company that we're fortunate to be a part of. But thank you so much. Any final words, final parting thoughts? I'd love to, give you the floor to close us out.
Thank you so much for your time. And we continue to make improvements based on things that you tell us. So we might not be able to do them always immediately, but we always will take them into consideration.
Wonderful. Well, Sherisse, thank you so much. Everybody, thank you for the time, and you go have an absolutely amazing day. Thank you, Sherisse.
Bye-bye. Have a good one.
All right, everybody. Holy cow, 0 to 80. 42 cents for the grandchild rider, including 6 kids. We talk about apps in the home, and if you can do the grandma and then all her grandkids, we're talking about really elevating value and putting that into position where you're showing the client that this is truly a product they want to keep. This is how you increase persistency, these simple things that they've chosen to add in here. So get yourself a contract, reach out upline. You should be contracted today if you don't have it so far. So 98% of us. So beyond excited for our new relationship with Combined, backed by Chubb, and the future is bright, guys. So thank you for joining me. We will be back here next week before we head out to Ignite, and we'll talk more soon. But here is your moment of Zen. Bye for now.
You need to be bored. You will have less meaning, and you will be more depressed if you never are bored. It couldn't be clearer. Let me give you the good side of boredom in general. Boredom is a tendency for us to not be occupied otherwise cognitively, which switches over our thinking system to use a part of our brain that's called the default mode network. That sounds fancy. It's really not. The default mode network is a bunch of structures in your brain that switch on when you don't have anything else to think about. So you forgot your phone and you're sitting at a light, for example. That's when your default mode network goes on. We don't like it. My colleague in the psychology department here at Harvard, Dan Gilbert, he did experiments where people had to sit in a room for 15 minutes with instructions to do absolutely nothing. And there was nothing in the room to do except there was a button in front of them that they could push. And if they did, they gave themselves a painful electric shock. Sit there bored or get a shock. A big majority of the participants gave themselves shocks instead of thinking about nothing. We don't like boredom. Boredom's terrible. Why is boredom so bad? Well, because the default mode network makes us think about things that might be kind of uncomfortable. When you think about nothing, well, your mind wanders and thinks about, for example, big questions of meaning in your life. What does my life mean? You go to kind of uncomfortable existential questions when you're bored. That turns out to be incredibly important, incredibly good. One of the reasons that we have such an explosion of depression and anxiety in our society today is because people actually don't know the meaning of their lives, much less so in previous generations. Tons of data show this. And furthermore, we're not even looking. Why not? I'll tell you why not. We figured out a way to eliminate boredom. We've been able almost completely to shut off the default mode network in our brains. How? The answer is that thing in your pocket with the screen, which you take out even when you're standing on the street corner waiting for the light to change. Is like, I might have to wait here for 15 seconds. What are you doing? You're actually trying to not be bored because the default mode network is mildly uncomfortable because it sends you to the types of questions that you can't get your mind around, you can't get your arms around. Well, that's a big problem. That's a doom loop of meaning. If every time you're slightly bored, you pull out your phone, it's going to get harder and harder for you to find meaning. And that's the recipe for depression and anxiety and a sense of hollowness, which, by the way, are all through the roof. I get it. You don't want to be bored. You need to be bored. Be bored more. Tomorrow, When you go to the gym in the morning after you wake up, don't take your phone. Can you handle it? Not listening to a podcast while you're working out, just being in your head. I promise you'll have your most interesting ideas while you're working out without devices. It's probably been a long time since you've done that. Commute with nothing, not even the radio. Can you do that? Start getting better at periods that are 15 minutes and longer of boredom and watch your life change. Number one, you'll be less bored with ordinary things in your life. If you get better at the skill of boredom, you'll be less bored with your job. You'll be less bored with your relationships. You'll be less bored with the things that are going on around you. But more importantly, you'll start digging into the biggest questions in your life: purpose, meaning, coherence, significance. And who knows, you might just get happier. People ask me all the time, is the doctor taking his own prescriptions? And the answer is yes. Yes, I am. I'm prone to the same pathologies as anybody else because I have the same brain chemistry as everybody else. So what do I do to fight that? And the answer is, well, I do a number of things. I have a no device policy after 7 in the afternoon. I don't sleep with my phone. We don't have devices when we have meals in my family because we're there for each other. We're not there for people who aren't there. 3, I have regular social media and screen cleanses where I don't use my device for longer periods of time. First is like children screaming in my head. Well, because that's how, dopamine is saying, get the phone, get the phone. That's addiction. But it calms down and I feel better and I feel sort of blessed by the end. And, I pick the phone up by the end because I have to check my emails and I have to be a normal functioning connected person in the world. But it does remind me that my life doesn't have to revolve around these devices. These protocols are really, really helpful. And I recommend them to anybody and everybody. Don't sleep with your phone. No phones during meals. Regular social media fasts. You'll get better. People worry that if they do these things, they're going to miss something. There are ways that you can remedy that. One of the things that you can do is you can have your phone on. You're just not looking at it. And there's only 1 or 2 numbers that can reach you in case of emergencies. Phones can do that, by the way. If you don't know how to do that, ask your kid. But don't use emergencies as an excuse. Here's something that's not an emergency. What's going on Twitter? That's not an emergency. Answer nothing. It doesn't matter. The news can wait. Seriously. Your grandparents didn't know what was going on every single second in Washington, D.C. You're killing yourself with this stuff. Are you kidding me? It's bad for you. So let me say it straight to my kids. Put down your phones. You need more meaning in your life. And so do I.